Welcome back, and how you all doing today? Good, I hope. This is the workout I did 2 days ago. Here I'm still getting used to the whole concept of belt squatting. I must say I'm pretty impressed with the whole idea. Having never done these in my past, it took me a little while to get used to this. Having said all that, and editing the video 2 days later, I will say my legs are really sore, mainly my quadriceps, the muscles in the front of my legs. I'm thinking what's happening here is I'm leaning forward a little too much, which is concentrating all the effort into the quadriceps, and if I were to lean back a little bit, I'd probably bring hamstrings into the picture. As a side note, if you watched my last video that I used this piece of equipment, I had this rigged up to my rack in a real janky way, and it ended up toppling over. So then I ordered the wall mount, and I could tell right away that was going to tear right out of the wall. So what I did was, as it turns out, my safeties on this rack were perfect to mount this piece of equipment. The safeties themselves actually have 5/8 inch holes, which made it perfect for mounting this. All I had to do was use a D-clamp to clamp the safeties to the rack, which made it rock solid. And now I can use pretty much any amount of weight and it's not going anywhere. And on the subject of weight, I have 180 pounds on these two weight horns. And based on the fact that it's a lever and what they say on their website, it's only about 80% of that weight is what I'm lifting, which would make it only 144 pounds. But I gotta say, a little bit goes a long way with this piece of equipment based on the amount of depth I'm able to get. So you'll see this piece of equipment mixed in with leg workouts every so often. That said, I may or may not upgrade to a bigger piece of equipment in the future. I'll see how this one works out for now and make a decision later. For now though, you get to watch me do my impression of a frog. That's kind of what I think I look like when I'm using this equipment. After hammering my upper leg, I'll normally do some sort of calf exercise. One of the easiest options and a go-to for a lot of people is calf raises on a leg press machine. Load up some weight and bang out the reps. Just be sure to get a good stretch at the bottom of the movement. I normally like to do a little extra stretching at the end of a set. I like adding cable curls into my bicep workout every so often because they'll maintain tension on the muscle for the entire range of motion. Unlike dumbbells, where if you lower the dumbbell to the very bottom of the range, tension is released. Then again, with dumbbells, you don't have to bring it all the way to the bottom. You can leave the elbow bent a little and maintain that tension on the bicep. I finished the bicep part of this workout with dumbbell concentration curls. This exercise is a really good finisher and offers a nice pump. And now for the last muscle group of this workout, the triceps. I start out with tricep overhead extensions. And on these, I do what I call doubles. I do a set with each arm, and then I followed up with another set on each arm. In a sense, this is pre-fatiguing and stretching out my triceps in preparation for my last exercise, the tricep pushdown. At the end of these two doubles, or giant sets, the triceps are flush with blood and ready to be finished off with the tricep pushdowns. At this point, the triceps are pumped and ready to be obliterated. Here at the bottom end of the movement, I'm making sure to squeeze the triceps. If I was to name one exercise that would cause the greatest pump for your triceps, I'd have to lean pretty heavy towards this one. And that'll do it for this workout. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.